Welcome everyone to this explainer. If you're an executive leader running a service-based business, like an agency, a consultancy, or a managed service provider, you probably know the drill. Today, we've got a strategic briefing on exactly how you can break through those stubborn structural revenue ceilings. And most importantly, we're going to look at how to do it without just endlessly increasing your internal headcount. Okay, let's dive right in.
Here's a quick look at the six-part consultants framework we're unpacking today. First, the revenue ceiling problem. Second, 3 partnership revenue models. Third, choosing the right model for you. Fourth, finding hidden revenue opportunities. Fifth, technical and proposal support. And finally, number 6, long-term revenue growth.
All right, let's kick things off with part 1, the revenue ceiling problem. We really need to look at the structural limits that hit you when simply doing more of the same just stops working.
You know, at a certain point, business growth stops being a pipeline problem and it morphs into a structural one. So I want you to ask yourselves this really fundamental question. Is there another way to grow your revenue using the client relationships you already have? Basically, can you capture the complex technology budgets your clients are already spending somewhere else, but without taking on the massive operational headache of delivering the work yourself?
Let's look at why that ceiling even exists in the first place. If you're a digital agency, your revenue naturally plateaus based on your creative headcount. So if clients suddenly ask for a custom mobile app or an AI feature, trying to build an in-house team for that dramatically spikes your cost base. Now conversely, if you're an MSP, your monthly recurring revenue is bounded by the infrastructure you're managing. When clients need big digital transformation projects, you basically have to either decline it or refer it away to someone else for free. Both of these models hit a hard ceiling, which literally leaves incredibly lucrative technology revenue sitting right there on the table.
So, how do we bypass this? That brings us to part 2, 3 partnership revenue models. We're going to explore 3 distinct models that run directly alongside your primary business to capture all that lost revenue.
We're looking at 3 specific models here. First up is the referral model. This one is super straightforward, 0 delivery involvement, 0 project management on your end, and a payout delivered within 30 days of the client's invoice. Next is co-delivery. This is a shared model where you lead the client engagement and you actually earn a margin on the engineering side, plus your own advisory fees. And finally, the white label model. This is where a full software development team works entirely under your brand, which of course offers the highest potential margin.
Now, the co-delivery model, this is where things get really interesting for consultants and system integrators. Here's the math. You bill the client for the full engagement, and your engineering partner delivers the technical work at a subcontracted rate. The financial difference there, that's your margin. You're earning a substantial chunk of the total engagement value, plus your standard strategy fees, and you're contributing absolutely 0 internal engineering resources to make it happen.
For absolute maximum yield, we look at the white label model. This is basically bolting a full engineering team right onto your agency, but it definitely requires some preparation. You need 4 distinct things here. 1, a named project manager to handle the client experience. 2, a believable service description so your clients trust your enterprise capabilities. 3, a ready client, ideally someone you've already been working with for over a year. And 4, a clear margin calculation. You're typically targeting a highly profitable 30 to 40% here.
Okay, having explored those options, let's move right into part 3, choosing the right model. It's time to figure out which of these actually fits your firm's operational maturity right now.
Here's an absolutely crucial takeaway. You do not need to jump straight into white labeling just because it has the highest margin. The smartest path is the one that matches your firm's current operational bandwidth and the actual depth of trust you have with your clients. At the end of the day, the right model is simply the one you can consistently execute.
Let's break this down into a bit of a matrix. If you're a solo consultant with an immediate time horizon and literally 0 delivery capacity, just go with referral for those quick 30 to 60-day payouts. Now, if you're an established IT integrator winning projects and leading clients, but you just lack the specific engineering skills for, say, a custom mobile app, co-delivery is your best bet. And if you're a mid-size agency looking to build a permanent, self-sustaining software practice over the next year, white label is your strategic move. Actually, a lot of successful partners end up running 2 or even all 3 of these models at the exact same time.
All right, let's pivot a bit. Part 4, finding hidden revenue opportunities. Where exactly is this money hiding inside your current client base right now?
Well, these 5 specific scenarios consistently generate the absolute largest commissions. Why? Because generic developers just can't pull them off. We're talking about healthcare organizations needing complex HIPAA and FHIR-compliant apps. Enterprises scrambling to hit urgent CSRD reporting deadlines. Series A startups that just got a fresh round of funding. logistics operators desperately needing FMCSA-compliant driver apps, and of course, massive digital transformation initiatives. These are high-barrier projects, which makes them highly lucrative.
You really have to listen for specific conversation patterns. When a client casually mentions something like, "Hey, we're thinking about building an app for our field team," you don't have to just refer them away to a third party for free anymore. Instead, you immediately position your industry-specialized engineering partner to secure that project, whether it's for a direct referral payout or to co-deliver the whole solution.
Or how about this one? This is an incredibly common trigger phrase. We need to report on our Scope 3 carbon emissions, but we just don't have the data. Look, that isn't just a casual desire. That is a regulatory urgency. Things like an ESRS E1 compliant report deadline create massive decision momentum. When you recognize that pain point, it becomes a fast-converting entry point for a really lucrative consulting engagement.
Now, you might be sitting there thinking, I have no idea how to scope or sell complex software. Well, that brings us perfectly to Part 5, Technical and Proposal Support.
The good news is you are not expected to sell this alone. In fact, in your first 30 days, just 3 specific actions can start generating revenue. Number 1, identify an active client need from the conversations you're already having. Number 2, request a specialized domain proposal section. So complete with compliance citations like HIPAA or PCI DSS to establish your authority right away. And number 3, submit a 48-hour scoping request.
This 48-hour scoping process is a total game changer. It completely de-risks the technical conversation for your firm. You are handed a preliminary architecture assessment and a solid estimate. That means you walk into your very next client meeting totally armed with concrete technical language and a realistic budget range. You control the conversation, and it really cements your authority as a trusted technology advisor.
Finally, we really need to look at the big picture in Part 6, long-term revenue growth. Why does this whole partnership model create such massive, compounding value over time?
Well, the financial model changes drastically as time goes on. In year 1, your revenue potential is generally driven by initial transactional project volume. It's strong, for sure, but it's pretty linear. By year 3, however, the revenue profile is materially higher across every single business type. It shifts from being purely transactional to highly predictable, compounding recurring revenue.
And why does it shift so much? It basically comes down to one absolutely vital conversion metric. Nearly half, so 40 to 50%, of all successfully launched project engagements from years 1 and 2 convert into long-term, ongoing engineering retainers. This means you're receiving continuous payouts or margins on work that was sold literally years ago without an ounce of new sales effort from your team.
So whether you're a boutique agency just running some smart referrals or a 100-person MSP running a full white-label practice, this compounding effect is the ultimate goal. You're just stacking new client introductions directly on top of previous ongoing retainer margins. And that stacking effect, it fundamentally transforms your business valuation and your profitability over a 3-year horizon.
So, I'll leave you with this final provocative thought. The starting point for your next big phase of growth isn't going to be some brand new marketing campaign. The opportunities are literally already sitting there in your recent client conversations. So, will you continue to leave these complex, highly profitable software development opportunities on the table? Or will you take action today and capture the technology revenue you've already earned the right to win? The choice is entirely yours. Thanks for joining me on this explainer.